How are you all doing? Welcome along to our 30th live Q&A in total. You're all very welcome, wherever you're tuning in from. Now, I got some cool questions this evening. Hey, Brian, welcome in. How are you doing? Sunny Scotland. Nice. Yeah, it's sunny here as well this evening in Ireland, so that's cool. How is Knocking on Heaven's Door going? Hope the chord changes are going good and the clear chords are coming along. Now, let's check. We have some cool questions this evening. We only have a few actually, so it's going to be pretty open to the floor after that, okay? But I'll just give a minute for everybody else to come in. And if you wanna pop in a comment, let me know where you're tuning in from. It'd be great to see. So we've Brian from Scotland. I can see there's 4 others on the YouTube stream, which is cool. And let's see who else have we got here. Yeah, so we've a good amount in. Okay, this is cool. I'm just going to leave it another minute or two, basically just to let it settle in case anybody's running late. But of course, wherever you're watching this from, the replay will be up on YouTube afterwards and everything will be chaptered. So if there's a part that you want to, like for example, I'm going to scroll through the comments once I've members' questions answered. And if members don't have any other questions, I go to the comments that are coming in from other places. So if you do have a question, I'm going to answer it, and all you gotta do is catch the replay on YouTube and you'll find it listed in a chapter. Alrighty, so let's get it going. Alright, so okay, first question came in from Brian, and it was around, there's a song I'd like to try on Willie Nelson's Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. There's a few hammer-ons. Could you please show how to do this? Okay, 100%. Hey Andy, how's things? Welcome in. How is Drifters going? Let us know. See this? I remember what songs you're on. I will ask you about them. Okay, so this one is the... So that's what's in that Willie Nelson song that Brian is looking to do. Okay, so with the hammer-ons, here is the thing to do with hammer-ons. It's that hammer-on is happening while there's chords going on, okay? And to tackle a hammer-on while you're doing a chord, that's a different discipline than just doing hammer-ons. So step 1, Brian, will be to practice the closest thing you could do in a hammer-on. Hey Andrea, welcome in. To practice the closest thing you can do on a hammer-on, and this is it, right? So what you're going to do is, you're going to get your E chord, you put it on, then you take off your middle finger, and what you practice is this. You practice picking the A string and you hammer on with your middle finger. Okay, so that's the mechanics of it. I'll do it here. Now, that's an end goal, but when I did my hammer on first, it sounded like this. Right, so I'm going to bring you through this right now. To do a hammer-on, while you have a chord held down, you got to remember it's called a hammer-on. I often say it's not called like a leave down, okay? Terrible joke. But you know the way like it's a hammer-on. If you're using a hammer to put a nail into something, you'd go like that. Well, you got to think the same level of force with your middle finger on the string. Now, if I don't set it off, just watch the way my middle finger looks. You can hear how hard that's being hit. So, you gotta really forcefully get it on. And to do that, you're gonna arch your nail, or arch your knuckle nearest the nail, and land it on the strings that way. So, like that. So you put on your E chord, you do that, and this is about technique, but it's also about strength training. So you'll basically, Brian, be there just taking a couple of minutes, just practicing that sound. And you're building the strength, but then there's the consistency. Some of them won't sound as clear as others for a good long while, and that's okay. So that's what I'd say first, Brian, just to concentrate on hammer-ons. Now, your main priority is Knocking on Heaven's Door. This will be a nice little side quest. And it can be used in songs like this. So this cool hammer-on thing can be used in other songs you'll do. But that's step one. E chord, practice the hammer-on. Treat it as part of your training on the side. Keep focusing on knocking on heaven's door. And then that will really help with that. And then once the hammer-on is consistent and you can produce the hammer-on, with the ease you could produce an E minor chord. If I asked you to, hey Brian, play an E minor. Hey Brian, do that hammer-on in the Willie Nelson song. That's the very time then that you can begin to like really tackle into the rest of that song. Hope that helps and that makes sense. Oh, we have a few more in the house. Noel, how's it going? Welcome in. Come on, Andy, doing well with the Drifters. That's class. Declan, welcome in. How's things? Good. You made it back. Hey, Dal, how are you doing? Yeah, it's a nice song. Yeah, you can do those hammer-ons on a ton of stuff. Hey, Brendan, how are you doing? Welcome in. Alrighty. I had a good call with Brendan there on Zoom. God, it was a few days ago. It was really cool. Hope the Foo Fighters going and you had a good time at Pearl Jam. So that is question one answered. Okay, good. Okay, thanks, Brian. Great question. I can see others are like, what's that cool thing? Okay, next question came in from Thomas. It's, hey Dave, I'm practicing with the metronome, alternating, let's do one thing here. Okay. Alternating between quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes. Can you please give examples or context where 16th notes are used in a song? Okay, so just in case you're wondering what in the name of guitar gods are 16th notes, it's where you fit. So a quarter note is 1 note per beat, an eighth note is 2 notes per beat, and 16th notes is where you fit 4 notes per beat. Okay, so if I was tapping down like this, I'll just do the sound of a metronome in my mouth, right? All my devices are being used right now for streaming. So if I'm going, they're quarter notes. Eighth notes go. Alright, so that's 2 in a beat. Now what? Alrighty, so see the way that works. There was 4 in a beat. So Thomas is asking for examples or context when they're used in a song. Any fast strumming song. Okay, so if we're talking about chords, it's any fast strumming song. Like if I was going like this, that's still only 8 notes. You see, it's not, but stuff like this. There's 16th notes put in there because they're faster. Okay, so that's the first thing. Any song you hear fast strumming. Wonderwall, I was at Liam Gallagher last night. Wonderwall would be a great example. And so those are the use cases. So everybody, if you're doing any song with fast type strumming, you've either played 16th notes and weren't aware of them, or you're aware of what they're called and you're playing them. But those are the contexts. And then funk is a very obvious one. Sorry. Here, that's fast. Like a ton of funk is 16th notes. Then those are some examples. And then the key thing with it is to be sure you're counting them, because our ear can track things that happen on a beat. Like contract, like if you had your guitar at home watching this and you go, and I go like this, you'll copy it back. I was on doing quarter notes. Then if I go like this, you get so close to it or get it exactly, because it's only 8 notes. Now if I break into this, all of a sudden there's too much information for the ears and the brain to suddenly start logging it. And sure, you can copy, but that's where counting the 16th notes comes in useful, Thomas. So definitely do your counting of 1 E and a. That's how you count the 4 parts that belong to a beat. 1 E and a. 1 E and a. 2 E and a. So that's a small bit around 16th notes. Now, For those of you who are in the membership, TSG Plus, we can go more in depth on 16th note strums if you wish. I know I've tackled it it's actually in the Strumming Patterns Made Simple Masterclass. If you're interested in this and you haven't yet visited that, it's inside there. It might be in the Rhythm and Timing 101 as well, but happy to talk more. All right, Thomas, hope that helps, and we can go deeper inside the community if you need anything else on that. Alrighty. Next question is from Adam, and it's around, sometimes I have trouble knowing when the pauses are in strumming to make it sound right. So the key part, all right, in strumming where players get put out is when you're not doing anything. And a classic strum pattern, I don't know if any of you experienced this, but sometimes it's when that gap, right, used in the I would like to leave this city, this old town. You get the idea. So what I'd say for this, Andy or Adam, is that the key thing with this is that you're counting. You're counting so you know what you're saying when the pause comes in. And then also that when you pause, that you keep your hand going. I was listening to a podcast just last night about a guy who went to a banjo camp and he heard a really cool tip about strumming. And it's the same thing for us. The idea with your strumming hand, Adam, is that it's like an engine. So like the idea is when you start to strum, you keep your hand moving like the engine in the car would keep ticking along. And now you see there, I'm not strumming all the time, but my hand is going all the time like this. So it's going down, up all the time. And that makes it easy if there is a pause in the rhythm, in what we're playing, that the hand keeps going. So what I'd say, Adam, for that is, whatever specific rhythm you're trying this on, drop me a DM, okay? We can take a look. But for a start, practicing going. So you're going down, down, up, miss, up, down, up. So that can definitely help for a start. All right, hope that makes sense. You need anything else, give me a shout by all means. The next question came in. It was from Lucas, and it was about the intro of Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer. So I just want to check one thing. Trouble making it sound smooth and not really... Got it. Okay. So how to make that intro sound smooth? I haven't played this in the longest time. I'm going to see, can I remember it? Got it. Okay. Cool. So that intro, what I do here, Lucas, is I would just take one area of the tab to begin. There's too much to try and make it all sound smooth at once. And oftentimes then it's the compounded effect of stumbling on stuff, and it keeps stumbling on through and it knocks it. It's like a domino. If we stumble on the first section of it, if we stumble on that, it's going to knock everything else that comes after it. And then we'll kind of judge all of it based on what happened at the beginning. So if I'm going to just give you an example of how to practice this part here. And if you drill this for a couple of days and only do this bit, and then see, can you begin to get that smoothness into the other parts, and see, can it begin to flow through. So what I'm doing is I'm on the 9th fret of A, and I'm sliding with my ring finger, 9 to 11. And the way I'm making it sound smooth is that when I play this note here, Lucas, I'm not thinking about these notes anymore. I'm like, well, I'm going to slide. Okay. And if sliding's a problem, just drill the slide. But really, I'm thinking about my index. Getting that index on. And when I slide, think about the index. But the key thing to make it sound smooth, listen if I pick that second note harder. You're going to notice the whole thing start to blend. It's just like a load of stuff. Versus, right, all I'm doing is picking lightly with the up. So what you're going to have to begin to do is build the isolation between pressing hard to get the slide from the beginning, and then building the independence in your picking hand to pick lightly. And folks, like, if you struggle with your finger picking sounding mechanical or you're strumming, that's kind of some of this as well, where you'll be pressing hard here, but you've got to go light here. So that's what I do. 9 to 11, then a nice light one there. Then I get the thumb overhead. I think that's the way Mirror does it. And that'll be it. Okay, so that would be a good start for it. And then the other thing, I've suggested this and it works. It just takes discipline to do it. Like, effectively when guitar players ask about making something sound more like the recording, to me, I frame it as languages. I'm like, the recording, let's just, for arguments, the recording is fluent. And we're there speaking our own language, playing it our way, going, it doesn't sound as smooth or as fluent as the song. How do I get that? Well, I remember doing French in school, and our teacher used to make us like listen to French over and over and over again, but it was only French. It wasn't somebody speaking French in a room full of like German, Spanish accents, everything. It was just one voice, one type of language. Now, where I'm going with this is, if you listen to Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, the original song, you're going to get John Mayer's vocals, there's bass guitar, there's that guitar you want to listen to and hear how smooth it is, there's the drums, there's keyboards, there's all this stuff. And we're trying to hone in on the tone of what you want. So Lucas, I would look up, and I've done this myself so many times with vocal lines. There was a time I had to sing Thriller for a Halloween concert, and I basically listened to the a cappella of Michael Jackson's vocal, I'm not exaggerating, 50 times. Only his vocals. And the nuances that you pick up on when you listen to individual tracks of a song that you cannot hear, just cannot hear in the mix of everything going on, is amazing. So if you look up John Mayer's guitar only line for Slow Dancing in a Burning Room and listen to that over and over and over again, and just think about what you hear. And you can do, anybody watching this, you can do this with so many songs nowadays, it's amazing. And just take a pen and paper and really think about what you're listening to, like dynamics, any creaks in it, what's loud, what's soft, where there's more aggression in the playing, maybe he lightened off, you know. So that's what I'd suggest, right? So, and just take those first few notes of it. Hope you find that useful. All right, and drop me a message. Let me know how that goes. It's such a cool one. Love that tune. Alrighty, how's the chat going? I saw a penalty written there. I know what topic you're on here, boys. Alrighty, so let's see what else have we got in this evening. Good luck, Declan, tomorrow. Oh, that's cool. You're chatting there. That's awesome. Okay. Okay, cool. Right. So those are the questions that came in. So I'm about to go to the general chat here. So if you've any more questions, hey Thomas, welcome in. I answered your question. You'll catch it in the replay. It'll be at the 6.5 minute mark. Okay, that's when I talked about 16th notes. Alrighty, so let's check some questions here. It's funny, the questions usually overlap. Okay, any tips on how to get started on a guitar solo? Yeah, 100%. Just start on the simplest type of solo you can find. You want to begin to start with something so basic, and I know it's tempting to look at the classics, but start with basic stuff. One I love to do is the first ever solo I learned was High and Dry by Radiohead. It goes. That was the sound. Yeah, High and Dry by Radiohead. Like, that was one of the first ones I learnt, and yeah, it's not the coolest solo, but I had a chance to get my fretting technique right. The rhythms weren't crazy, and it went at a nice tempo. Those are kind of the three key things you want to be looking for. Alrighty, so let's see what else. We got a few more questions here now. I'm having a problem with the three-way switch on my electric guitar. Have I got any idea what might be wrong? No, sorry, I don't. Me and mechanical electrical stuff with guitars don't mix. What I would say is swap out the lead, check it's not the lead, and then check up is there static coming off it, and then I just bring it in to somebody to take a look at that. That's what I do. Alrighty, so that's that one. Okay. Hey Brendan, caught you here on the Instagram. I'm glad you're on this one. Yeah, the mirror thing is weird. I don't know why it does that. Have you got any good songs to play in a band for beginners? Yeah, 100%. So in a band, the key thing is that you pick songs that everybody is generally like tight on. So as an example, start with slow songs. Start with songs that contain the same chords going around in a loop. And try and pick songs that you all agree on. Like, a good method I had with mates before in the past was, because we did the whole thing of going, I want to do this song, and because I like it, we should do it. Like, I mean, we're really young, and the vibe of the band was so affected. We played the song I wanted to play that others didn't like, and then when it came time for their ones that I didn't like, it was weird. So what we did was we got the songs and we wrote out 10 songs each that we wanted to do. There was 4 of us in the band. We all wrote 10 songs. And what we did was, first of all, we looked between the list of 10 songs to see was there any that overlapped a common thread across all our songs, and there was. So we picked those. We all voted on those. And then we looked for the next ones in common. Was there any that maybe 3 out of the 4 of us voted on? Was there any that 2 out of the 4? And that way we got like songs that had the largest common denominator of interest amongst the band, which definitely helped with dynamics within the band. And then, like, good songs playing a band for beginners. Slower tempos are the way to go. Stuff that doesn't have, like, if you have a drummer, stuff that doesn't have crazy drums, because you kind of want to pick some rock stuff to begin, because that way if the drummer's just holding a steady beat, it's a nice steady beat for the band to play over as a unit and to get used to playing together. If there's crazy fills and stuff, the second those fills happen, that's the second that the band might start to wobble with each other. The other thing is too, you want to really check in with your bass players. Like, I played with bass players who'll stick to a bass line, and bass players who will play all over the song, like slapping and popping and like going up high and chord, like. And what you want, if you're talking about starting a band, if you have a bass player in the band and they're doing loads of slapping and popping stuff, you gotta talk and you gotta say, listen, the bass and drums have got to hold down the rhythmic unit of the band, right? Like, as a guitar player, you play chords. You wouldn't start throwing in extra chords for fun. If it affects the whole songs, but that can happen with bass and drums. So just keep an eye on that. Now, last thing in a band for beginners, like, the other thing about it is this will be dependent on, like steady songs. Just watch out there's no like major stops and major hits in the song. That can sometimes affect things. All right, hope that helps. Yes, Yorishi, it is also live on YouTube. YouTube seems to be the steadiest one. I just kind of go live on all of them. Hey Brett, what's up? Okay, so let's see. I still have a lot of trouble with strumming. Okay, strumming in a nutshell, I'll answer this. Strumming in a nutshell, you start with the basics. You start with your beat. You start with one chord. You strum down to a metronome set at 60 BPM, and you tap your foot and you make sure you're matching the metronome with one chord. If that isn't happening, strum patterns won't help. It'll be more stuff to try and manage. So you start with that, and then After that, you begin to do that strum on all your 3 other chords. So you're aiming to do this with 4 chords. And then after that, you basically pick the next simple strum pattern up from that, which is this one. So if you're doing all downs, okay, the next step up from that one is just down, 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 up, down. And you're matching the metronome with all your downs. And again, you spend a few days at that as well. The problem is, it's easy to go online and to get a bit of that and go, okay, I'm going to jump to the next thing. Because, like, no one can stop you. You can't install something on your internet connection that's going to stop you from looking up all random guitar stuff. But trust me, I've seen it happen enough players. Metronome, single strums, metronome set at 60 BPM, get that on G, E minor, C, and D on their own, and then you get your down, 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 up, down, with each of those chords on their own. I'm not even talking about like changing chords yet. And then you start introducing chord changes. Start with the change you find the easiest. It would probably be C to E minor, and then go for the trickier ones like G to D. And generally you'll find most chords going to E minor easy. And then from 60 BPM, you can start cranking up the metronome, like 5 BPM at a time. And that is going to help you with strumming. And the beauty of that approach, this system, is that you're going to know every step of the way if you're getting it or not. If you're not getting this step, you stay in it until you get it, then you move to the next one. All right, hope that helps. And the replay of this is on YouTube afterwards, so I'll have it all time-stamped. Okay, let's see. All right, questions. Loving the soccer talk down here. Okay, when I saw, I forget the term I saw. I was like, oh, the soccer talk. Okay, nice. Okay, great question from Declan here. I'm just going to do this here. Okay, my practice time is very fragmented at the moment with all the in and out trips to Germany. Declan is a football fan and he's doing his best to support the team. Might happen for you this year now. By the way, I'm not having a slag because I haven't seen a single score or single match of the Euros, just to let you know. Okay, my practice time is very fragmented. Have you got any thoughts on a good 15-minute practice session for the left and right hand? Okay, yeah, so now let's talk strumming, because I know we were talking strumming. 15 minutes. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to have a drink of water. Okay, so for the left and right hand, what I'd do is, I know we were talking about strum patterns, so I'd set a metronome on the go at like probably 80 BPM, and I'd pick one strumming pattern, and for the left and right hand, I'd basically just see could I keep the focus on the strum pattern and that I don't go switching up to a default pattern. Okay, so as an example, you know, Declan, you could take a pattern like this. So I'll do this one. Or Barre Chords, I could go. Now, on the surface, that's like, why are you telling me that for 15 minutes? But the chords are the smallest part of your practice with this. I've just given you the chords, but the underneath the hood improvements are you'd have to stick to that rhythm and you'd have to play it with the metronome. And the second you'd see your strum pattern start to do other stuff, that's when you know it went. So you can set a timer to see how long you could keep it going before the strum pattern varies. Okay, so that'll be one. And then in terms of practice, Declan, if you want to post a comment, do you play lead as well? Have you played a bit of lead? I know we talked a lot about chords and stuff, but just let me know, because I've something I want to add on to that. Like, what I used to do for coordination with my left and right hand with lead was I'd do this exercise here. I'd go 3, 4, 5 on the 3rd fret, the 4th, and the 5th, and then I do it down the string. I do it on all the strings. Okay, cool, very badly. Okay, this is good, this will help. So What I'd say as well, Declan, is I would do this pattern. You're basically on the 3rd fret, 4th and 5th of every string. And you go down, up, down. And the next string is up, down, up. Next string is down, up, down. You're basically going down, up all the time. But it's just that because there's 3 notes per string, some strings you start with the down, the next one you start with an up. Up, down, up, down, up. Right, now, the reason this one is good for syncing up your left and right hand is because you're not doing a solo. You're not doing that stuff because it's like there's no consistency, but you're drilling this. Now after you get down to the end, you slide up a fret, so now you're on the 6th fret, and you do it backwards. You go 6, 5, 4, up a string. Okay, now in that short period of time, you would have played, and the great thing about this is you don't need to keep remembering what's the next fret. It's always 3, 4, 5, or this combo. So you played 18 notes there. You slide up, you play 18 more. That's 36 notes in a very short period of time. So your maximum focus is on synchronizing up your left and right hand. Hope that makes sense. And it's not going to sound nice. It doesn't sound nice as an exercise. But I used to put on soccer matches back when I used to watch Man United back a long time ago. Anyways, don't hold it against me, any non-United fans. But yeah, I used to like just put on a match, and in like 15 minutes or whatever, I'd just crank out those slowly, like, you know, even if you're doing this slow speed. And then when you go up, you can travel all the way up the fretboard to the 12th fret, okay? And then when you think about all those, you'd have well over 100 notes synchronized up for the hands. Because if it's a solo, you have to think about rhythm, you have to think about, are you going to get the notes, or what are the notes? With this, we've removed all the thinking so you can focus on that. So that's what I'd say, Declan. That would be a good 15-minute workout for sure. All right, you need anything, though, give me a shout. Great question. Question in from Brendan. Are learning scales useful for playing acoustic guitar, or is it more about the strumming patterns? For starting acoustic guitar, I would say it is more about the strumming patterns, but the problem is often we'll learn 1 or 2, then we'll try some really advanced ones, and there's too far a bridge to gap, or too far gap to bridge, whatever the saying is, and then we kind of get lost. So what I'd say, Brendan, is get 3 or 4 strum patterns into your playing, and yeah, I've got some scales. Like a nice one is the G major scale. Open, if you want to Google it, you'd be Googling open G major scale 1 octave. That's OCTAVE. So that's a nice little sound. Might sound familiar. Do, re, mi. That'll be one. Another one is the... Now, I've seen you play, so like I'm going to suggest this. Look up an A minor pentatonic scale. It goes like this. Okay, now that is, you just look up A minor pentatonic scale, 2 octaves. Okay, octaves meaning the more octaves that are written, the longer the scale goes on. You only want 1 octave or 2 octaves, trust me, for now. So yeah, and the purpose of doing the scales, there's a couple of benefits. First benefit is you're at something different and it expands your skill set. And when I've worked with players, they'll offer me on a song or 2, and they'll be like, you know what, you're kind of in the maintenance phase now of this song while you learn this new song, and you've looked at this one. It's very easy to open out 10 songs, but if you keep 3 on the go, and then you go on like what we call a side quest to learn some picking with your scales, that could definitely help. And then with the skills, you'd learn with your scales, you'd be working on your alternate picking, just the picking down up. Okay, and again, it's just that, and where you can use it are riffs, Foo Fighters songs. You could use them in that. Do you know that one I was listening to lately? Stacked Actors. I think it was on There's Nothing Left to Lose. But the picking you would have worked on your scale could be used on that riff. Okay? So those are a few tips. So I'd definitely go for it. You know, those are the top two that I'd go for. Hope that helped. Alrighty. Question from Noel. What I'm doing here, folks, is I'm just writing the time the questions come in so I can chapter them accurately for you. Okay. From Noel, I've been trying out playing a few power chords recently. Would you recommend using 2 or 3 fingers when playing power chords? Great question. I am a fan of starting with 2 fingers rather than 1. You're welcome, Brendan. I'd go with these now. It depends on the song then. Nirvana would have used 3. Have the classic three fingers on, but in general I'd start, like if you're doing Thin Lizzy or anything like that. What songs are you doing it on, or are you learning them as a thing? Let me know. But yeah, start with 2 and get the movements. See, if you have 2, you only have 2 to take care of, and then you can get the movements. And with the 2 as well, if you're using your index and pinky and they get sore, you can use your index and ring. Okay, so that's what I'd suggest. And then 1 or 2 song suggestions in terms of classics. You'd have More Than a Feeling. That's a fun one. Do you know that one? It was by Rainbow. Since you've been gone, since you've been gone, I'm out of my head, can't take it. Or with that one, Born to Be Wild. That's fun. Last one I have is Paranoid, but that's really fast. Okay, those are a few to try. But nice to get into the power chords. And Oasis, of course. Yeah, that would work. Alright, hope that helps. Okay, let's check. Is there any more questions? Can I play a song in Romanian? No, unfortunately not. Not yet, anyways. I haven't. If there's any artists, if you have any artist suggestions, I'll look them up though. I could give it a go. Class. Declan, mind the head now. You'll need it for the games tomorrow. Headbanging to Rainbow. Deadly, no, cool. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, long before there's YouTube, I would have learned the power chord songs I made this association. I was like, wait. Rock equals power chords equals rock. I find power chord songs by looking up CDs of rock classics. I went into Chivago. It was a record store, for those of you unfamiliar, in Galway, and I'd go to the rock section and look up rock classics, and I'd be like, these might have power chords. And then I'd go home and I'd Google it on Ultimate Guitar, like really early days Ultimate Guitar, and I'm like, yes, it does. Europe Final Countdown as well, Iron Maiden as well, and Eye of the Tiger is a good one. Gotta throw that one in. Would power chords help with bar chords? Yeah, Brian, they totally would. Hold on now 1 sec. Okay. Yeah, they completely would, because a bar chord contains a power chord. Those 2 notes or 3 notes that are in a power chord, like Noah mentioned there, they're the formation of the bar chord. So check this out. If I go like this, and then if I go, first 3 notes are a power chord. So 100%. That way you can get your movements and everything in, But I'm a fan of bar chords being a project. Like, there'll never be a good time to learn a bar chord. So treating it as a long-term project is good. You know, that'll be a nice way to treat it as well while you do all the other cool stuff. All right. Is there a difference between a bar and a measure? Ooh, theory question. I'm in dangerous water here now. I think they're the same thing. I think. Might have to fact check me on that one. I think bar is like the British European. You're welcome, Brian. European term for it, and measure I think is more American. I think, you know, like there's so much different terminology that was so separated 20 years ago, and now online, like I'd even talk in quarter notes and eighth notes and stuff. I much rather that, but growing up on violin, it would have been crotchets and minims and whatever, semi-briefs, stuff like that. Yeah, and with YouTube then, you know, if somebody from a certain country is teaching and they're using their lingo, jargon, that's what you're going to have. So it's kind of blended, which is cool, you know. I like that. Hope I answered that question correctly though at the same time. I'm going to check, is there any questions up here? Keep the questions coming, folks. We have 20 minutes left. We've already had, my God, the questions are, we've got a nice amount of questions. Okay, let's see. Just looking through here. Okay. No, I'm not seeing questions, which is okay. Okay, got one. Okay, question. I've been playing guitar for years now, just picking up playing whatever I feel like. What would I suggest one should practice? Okay, so depends on your goals, really. Like depending on like what are you optimizing for? That'd be my question. Like, are you like if you're playing whatever you feel like, that's great. Like it's great to be picking up and playing. Like that's the number one thing, you know. I'd ask you what you're looking to do. Like I have a video up on YouTube, and I think the title was something like "How I Stayed Motivated for 5 years Straight on Guitar," and what I always knew to practice was the next little mountaintop I was setting, and it was always a song. It was always far outside my ability, but I always had it. It was the North Star that I always was aiming for, and that's how I always knew what to practice. For 5 years, I never had to know, like, never question what to practice. That only stopped for me when I lost, like, when I was like, kind of, I got into teaching then, and that became the thing I wanted to practice. But like when there wasn't a song, that's when I was most confused about practice. So what I'd say is check in what songs you want to learn, make a list, look up things you like the sound of, and then start breaking them down. And I think that should help with your practice. Hope that helps. Okay, click on here. Okay. How do you make an acoustic sound electric when you play? Okay. One thing I'll share is I have a video up and out to like how to make your guitar sound like a rock. Like I was at Oasis or Liam Gallagher last night, and they played Cigarettes and Alcohol. I haven't played it before, but like, so the first thing is like that's done on electric, but to get more of a rock sound, I'm holding the pick way tighter. And the second thing is I'm attacking it. It sounds dirty, like an electric would. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the next thing is I'm using power chords because those are typically the chords used in electric, not open chords. But in terms of playing solos and stuff, like it's really hard to like this. Like if I go, Like even Prison Walkways by Tin Lizzy, if I was to play that, it doesn't sound like the electric. There's no way I can make it happen. But on the like, but the you can see there when I play Don't Cry by Guns N' Roses that's done in electric. The closest thing I can get is mess around with where I position the pick. Alright, so you've chord types that you can do, like do power chords, you're playing style, heavier strings, make it sound as tinny and as cranky as you can. So it sounds like rock. And finally then pick position. Alright, hope that helps. Now let's check with some questions here. Question for Brian, would I consider doing a power chord masterclass? Yes, 100%. Yeah, getting through this month. Next month we're going to focus on finger picking. I'm getting everyone's 2 cents on what's going on there, and then yeah, power chords could be a cool one to look at. Definitely. Perfect. Okay, so question from Noel. I still get confused with the terms bridge, verse, and chorus. I can never remember which is which. Perfect. So the bridge typically happens once in a song. And typically, not all the time, generally, it'll happen after the second chorus. So the song will have an intro, usually a verse, a pre-chorus at times, the chorus, then another verse. There might be something after the chorus, like, by the way, The Weeknd and Taylor Swift and stuff, Avicii kind of had a bit of this too, like a post-chorus, okay? Like, there's all these terms. And then there's the verse, the chorus again, and after that second chorus will be the bridge, okay? And the bridge would generally happen once. It would generally contain different chords to the rest of the song and be quite different to the rest of the song. All right, so that's one thing. But you know what I found useful, Noel? When I started doing YouTube tutorials years ago, I had the very same question. I was like, oh man, I just thought of the song as the song. And the chorus used to be obvious, but like naming the parts. So there's a website called Genius Lyrics, as in Einstein was a genius, that genius. And if you go on there on any song, you're going to find the labels of all the different song sections. So any YouTube tutorial I did for a period of time until I got the hang of this, I used to go in there and go, so that's the bridge. So that's the post-chorus. That's the pre-chorus, you know. So that should help. All right, great question. Cool, Andy. You checked out that video. Class. Thanks. Okay, question. Okay, excellent. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, question from Andrea. I've been trying to play the intro to Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Any advice other than playing it over and over to blend the fills into the strum? 100%. So I was on a Zoom call lately with Brandon and there was John, and what was I going to say? We were working on, I just want to find this here because I gave a tip and I want to get it here. Yeah, got it. Okay. And I was working with Aaron on this. Aaron had the same question, Andrea. So what we did in it was this. So what we did was we got Aaron doing that and just practicing going from the strum on the chord to the first note of the fill. Only that. And so to do that, I was asking him to play and go to look down to be sure to get it. And even at that, when you're on that C chord, don't think about the C, don't think about the strum. Just focus on that one note, and repeat that a ton of times. Just that little bit over and over and over and over again. So like, and go again. And you see, I'm not even trying to like get that in a loop because that's a tricky thing to try and do, and it's not what we need to do. So we're going, okay, and now with it then, I just want to do this here really quick. There we go. With it then, what you want to do is That's like the one note, the thread that's connecting you going from the chords into all the fill. So once you get that, you'll find that the rest could flow from there, okay? But to get to that, it will take a ton of going from the C chord to that one note, okay? It sounds weird, sorry, this is about to die here. There we go. It sounds weird, but give it a go. Like, I mean, for an evening or two, and just see, can you start to connect it? And of course, post a video in the community, we can take a look as well, of course. Okay, great question. Yeah, Genius Lyrics Null, that's the one, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, yeah, give that a go, Andrea. And for anybody, that's the thing to remember. If you're working on chords and a fill, oftentimes it isn't that you're trying to connect up. You're trying to connect up all the fill with all the chords. It's the last chord ahead of the beginning of the fill, and the beginning of the fill only being that first note or two. When you can connect that thread by repetition and taking it super slow and gauging where you're placing your attention and your focus, where you look on the fretboard. For example, you might be better not looking at your pick in hand and getting it, or you might be better looking at it. It all depends. But once you drill that and then take the whole thing slow, oftentimes it can connect it all up. All right. We have 8 minutes, folks. I'm checking, is there any more questions? What's an easy song to learn with simple strumming? Okay, here's a tip, and I'll just log this 52. Okay, so what's an easy song to learn with simple strumming? The key thing about picking any song when you're looking online is, first of all, remembering that you can simplify the strum to be that down, 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 up, down. That's a nice, easy strum to get in with. And then when it comes to picking a song to use it with, the more spaced out the chords are, the better. So if you're finding songs that the chord changes are frequent, that's a lot of thinking to do with chord changes, which will take your focus off the strumming, which will make it not work, which means if you're trying to sing overall, it just becomes a mess. But to try and sort out. But if you take long spaced chords, Zombie by the Cranberries is a great one. Dreams is a great one. I was added today like this. Changing every. Give all the time in the world to think of the chords that are coming next. And you can have time like to check in, are they clear, you know? But if I was doing this song, me and Julio down by the schoolyard, there's no time to think about anything. And that's the danger. I created a list of like easy songs, and I use easy quite carefully because it's so subjective. And to do it, like, I had my own list, and then I was like, I wonder if there's any I'm missing. So I went online and I looked up like blogs and stuff, and you would be amazed at the amount of songs that were listed that are easy, and they're actually not. Like, they're really hard. But what makes people think they're easy is that they contain easy chords. But if the chord changes are frequent, it's going to be tricky. If the rhythm is tricky, is difficult, it'll be hard. If it's a fast song, it'll be hard. So you got to pick something nice and slow with basic chords that are all spaced out, okay? And Brian shared a great link in our community, Chord Genome. It's where you can look up songs based on chords, so that could be worth a look for sure. All right, great question. I'm sure you're not the only one with it. Question from Instagram here. How do I get my fingers to do barre chords? Okay, go to the School of Guitar YouTube channel, look up barre chords. I have like about 30 minutes of in-depth barre chord lessons, and then I have a ton of shorts addressing common barre chord problems. You go there, you'll get all the in-depth stuff you need. All right, folks, we're in the final 5. Any cool questions left any side? Okay. It's gone eerily silent. Okay, question. Great question. Okay, cool. Give me one sec. Okay. Question from Brian. Dave, as you know, I've been practicing knocking on heaven's door. Yeah. Good work. Focusing on the one song. We gotta get that over the line. Good work. Could I use C add 9? Okay, I'll answer that first. Yeah, like you know what? I wouldn't. You could, but I wouldn't. Here's why. You're going from A minor up to C for it. To change from A minor to C add 9 is actually more hassle than it is to change from A minor up to C. Alright? And then the second reason is C add 9 is a really nice substitute for a C chord. It's a lovely workaround at times. But at the end of the day, the C chord will have to be kind of like the F chord. You will have to tackle it at some stage. But from what I saw on the call, you got it. Like it's the metronome. Just keep going with the metronome. All right. Let's see. Also notice that everyone played G chord. Yeah, sure. When you use the 4-finger G, yeah, that can be nice to change to C. I wouldn't be too worried. I kind of play the 4-finger G most of the time anyways. A load of Noel Gallagher stuff had it, so I kind of got into that habit. So 4-finger G, D, A minor, regular C. That'll start out knocking on heaven's door. Alright. But of course, you're inside our community, so if you need anything, drop me a message, fine, alright? Question from Noel. Just asking a question for the wife. How many guitars is too many? Exactly, like Andrea said there, no such thing, Noel. Really, as much floor wall space as you have, really. So how many walls have you in the gaff? That's all you need, because as long as it's not taking up floor space, it's okay. And guitars are investments, not expenses. So, but that's good. You're welcome, Brian. I know. I saw Thoman actually have a 70th anniversary sale, and they keep giving me ads on Facebook. And there's a beautiful Taylor guitar today. I was like, oh my god. But anyways, yeah, Noel, you and Declan need to talk, and Ken as well. Ken has a collection too, and Barry. I know Barry has a collection as well. Yeah, Declan, can't see that collection. Okay. Oh, cool. Andy, you said, okay, I'll answer this. Yeah, so Andy was asking about the G chord. Really, with the G chord, Andy, yeah, stay on the 3-fingered one yourself for now, and then we can add the 4th one in later, okay? Like, and this is a key difference. Like, you could be playing for a length of time, like a year, and on some of the open chords, and you'll switch between G and the 3-fingered and 4-fingered G, but then have problems in other places. But if you're playing for a couple of months or even 6 months, that can be tricky. So stick with the 3-fingered one. All right. Okay. Let's see. In +1. Yeah. What's that thing in factorial? Electric guitar is factorial. Brendan. How many guitar books is too many? What do you call it? I don't know. I don't actually know. I'll been banned this class. Yeah, I used to love the guitar books. Just something nice about holding them. Oh, yeah, cash converters. Yeah, we've adverts here in Ireland, Declan. I don't know if you've seen it. It's kind of like Craigslist in the States. Yes. Question. Gerry Cinnamon. No, I actually don't know any Gerry Cinnamon. Is there any like if you can hang on for a minute, I'll pull one up here on Spotify and I'll figure it out by ear. Name one there quick, and I'll figure. Don't name something crazy. Name something that's like people know. I did. One day I was on Instagram and I was like, let me know if you want me to figure something out by ear or jam along. And somebody wrote Dragon Force. It's like, no. Okay, Belter. Sometimes. Okay, let's see. Got it. Okay, so just give me one sec. Got it. I'm going to set off the copyright filter if I put it plain, so I'm just going to do this here. A sec. Okay. Here we go. I'll explain through this anyways. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so right, so those are the first bit. So like when I'm figuring this out, I'm getting the root note, and then I hear the relationship between the notes. Okay. Okay, and how I'm figuring that out? I'm using scales. And that's how I'm connecting them. So, for example, Brendan, that's another reason to learn scales. When you learn them, your ear starts to connect up the movements between things. Okay, and that's connected from system around toxicity. So, the more you learn on guitar with scales and stuff, the more your ears log what it is. Yeah, and there's a. All right, I can't put the song play much more. I had a snippet on a live stream last week just before I went live, and YouTube flagged me for copyright. So I didn't tell you this before. I had to go to copyright school with YouTube. There was some song I'd done a lesson for, and they said it was a copyright violation. So I had to sit through a copyright school thing with YouTube, and I got one flag, and it got cleared. It's like penalty points. It got cleared, so gotta be careful. Hey, you're so welcome, Chiefy30. So welcome. All right, crew. I've time for one last question. If anyone has one, or if not, I will end the stream and leave it there. You're welcome, Noel. You're welcome. It's so great to see you all make it. I know YouTube is kind of the main hangout of members, which is class. And if any other, let's see. If you're learning, brilliant, I'm going to answer this. Okay, if you're learning scales, do you also learn the notes? Okay, great question, Andrea. So, it's not essential in the beginning. I wouldn't get caught up learning notes. I'll answer that one last time. I wouldn't get caught up learning the notes yet. It'll be mainly, when you learn scales, Andrea, it's about like technique and then theory and then usefulness. So first of all, I just focus on playing them, and then I'd be like, okay, what are they called? The notes, and then I scramble around the names of the notes. So for example, here's the thing: the G major scale. Okay, I would spend all my time just learning how to drill it, and then from there I was like G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. I'd get the names of the notes, but the key thing you got to ask yourself is, why do you need to know them? And the reason I needed it back then was, in school the teacher would hand around copies of Tim Whistle notes and be like, here, play that, like the Irish Rover. And I was like, damn, like they're all notes. And that's why I had to learn them. So we'd probably have to have a chat around why to learn them. It's useful for some theory, but first of all, I just get the playing and get some fun with them. All right. Okay, when do I not think about guitar, Dave? Thomas, I'm not sure at this stage. I don't know. I'm living in an eternal existence of guitar, but it's cool. It's so good. Hey, you're so welcome, Brian. You're so welcome. Glad you can make it, Chiefy. You're welcome. Favorite Irish band? That's a good question. I don't know. You're welcome, Andrea. Welcome, Andy. That's a good question. I don't know. I like you too. Like not really the biggest U2 fan in the whole world. Like, but I've seen them. But I'm just trying to think of Irish bands. I do love like 2 or 3 Aslan songs. I don't know if that going. Damien Dempsey. I love Damien Dempsey. Frames. There we go. They're coming now. Coming at the end. All right. Hey, Brendan. Nice to meet you. Good to see you again. And yeah, so that's about it, folks. We'll wrap it there. And listen, if you're not in a membership and you want to be in a community full of like amazing guitarists doing great things, encouraging each other on, just check out the channel. You find the link in my profile if you want to hop in. And we're actually getting on top of finger picking next month. So if you want to hop in on that with us, you'll find the link there. All right. Great to see everybody. We'll see you all soon. Bye.